Hi everybody! Today I want to talk to you about problem solving and multiplying fractions. So we have been working on multiplying fractions, and today we are going to apply what we know about multiplication into our work with word problems. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be analyzing the word problems and finding out what it is inside these multiplication word problems that are telling us to multiply. So let's get started. Let's start by reading the problem. It says, each day a company uses 2/8 of a box of paper. How many boxes do they use in 5 days? We're going to begin by splitting our paper into 4 sections because we're going to solve this problem using 4 steps. Number 1, what is the question asking? Number 2, what information do we need to use? Number 3, what is the plan that we're going to use to solve this problem? And number 4, then we have to solve it. So I'm going to split my paper into four squares, and I'm going to go about solving this problem. First question, what is the question asking? Let's see, by going in here, there's my question mark. Here's what my question is asking. It's asking how many boxes do they use in 5 days? Now, what information are we going to use? When I talk about information, I'm speaking specifically about the numbers that are in the word problem. I see 2 numbers. I see 2/8 and I see the number 5. Now, when I write down these numbers inside my information, I'm not just going to write the numbers themselves. I'm going to write what the numbers represent. 2/8 of a box. That's what 2/8 represents. And then I'm going to write what the 5 represents. It represents 5 days. This information is going to help me plan how to solve this problem. So when I'm planning, before I begin to solve, I actually want to get a really good picture of what's happening in this problem. I know I have 2/8 of a box of paper, and I know I have that for 5 days. So I'm actually going to draw 5 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 boxes here. Each one of them is 2/8. Now, when we talk about what operation we're going to use, what are we going to do? Are we going to add? Are we going to subtract? Are we going to multiply? Are we going to divide? Well, let's go back to the question. How many boxes do they use in 5 days? So they want to know all of the boxes, all of the 2/8 of a box when we put them all together. So they want to know the total. That tells me that I either need to add or multiply. And in actuality, I could do either or. I could add 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8. That's not a problem. But since we've been talking about multiplication, remember, multiplication is a shortcut for addition. And so in actuality, I could just write 2/8 times 5 days. Pretty cool, huh? So that's how I'm going to solve my problem now. Now I know when I multiply fractions and whole numbers, my whole number needs to be turned into a fraction. So I'm going to do that. And I also know that multiplication of fractions is so easy. All I have to do is multiply right on through and then simplify if I need to. So 2 times 5 is 10, and 8 times 1 is 8. Now, this is an improper fraction, and also, if I was going to answer my question, how many boxes do they use in 5 days? Well, that's easy. They use 10/8 boxes. Have you ever heard anyone say 10/8 boxes? That doesn't really make much sense. So I'm going to put this into a mixed number so that I can get the exact number of boxes that are going to happen. So I'm actually going to go over here on another piece of paper because I'm running out of room. I'm going to take 10/8 and I'm going to make this into a mixed number. So when I make a mixed number out of an improper fraction, remember I pay close attention to my division line. I want to divide 8 and 10. So let me set up my division problem. And what the words I use are how many times does 8 go into 10 without going over? Let's see. I can use my multiplication grid. How many times can 8 go into 10? Wait a second, I already went too high. Look, I'm at 32. Let's go back. Okay, I'm looking for a number under 10. Well, I didn't have to go too far, did I? It's 8. So 8 can only go into 10 one time without going over. So I'm going to write that down. 8 can go into 10 one time. Let's see how many is left over. 2 is left over. So remember, like we normally do, 1 becomes our whole number, 2 becomes our remainder, and then we bring over our denominator, 2/8, 1 and 2/8. Now, we can either leave our fraction just like this, or we can simplify it further. Remember, when we simplify, we put this fraction into its lowest terms. So I can take 2 and 8, and I need to come up with common factors if I was going to simplify this fraction. So my factors of 2 and 8, my factors of 2 are 1 and 2, and my factors of 8 are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. The common factor between these two numbers is 2, so I'm going to divide both of these, this numerator and this denominator, by 2, and my simplified fraction, becomes 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my simplified fraction becomes 1 and 1/4. So the answer to my question, let's go back to the answer for my question. Remember 10/8 boxes? That didn't make much sense, right? How about this one? They will use 1 and 1/4 boxes. Does that make more sense? That makes way more sense to me. 1 and 1/4 boxes. Nice job. That was a long process because not only are we combining what we know about multiplication and we're applying it, we are using that in the context of word problems. And I'm proud of you. It's a lengthy process, but you can do it. Work slowly, work methodically.